like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so get this.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones
Uh-huh.
requested and was granted his release from the New York Giants.
Wow.
I know, right?
It's-
November 22nd.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the season, and this news just drops out of nowhere.
I know.
You'd think a team would want to hold on to their starting quarterback, especially with the playoffs in sight.
Especially a first-round pick from just a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a head-scratcher.
Yeah,
Especially when you consider...
totally. Yeah.
Our main source here is a statement from Giants president John Mara on Giants.com.
Oh.
And honestly, it raises more questions than it answers.
Well, let's dive into the statement then.
Yeah.
Mara says they mutually agreed to part ways. That phrasing seems very deliberate.
Right.
Like they're trying to present a united front.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mutually agreed
Yeah.
implies this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. This had to involve conversations, maybe even some tough negotiations behind closed doors.
Right.
What makes both sides decide walking away is the best option mid-season.
And then there's this line about Jones being first class in every way. It's almost too complimentary, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're going out of their way to emphasize there's no bad blood.
Yeah. It's definitely unusual praise.
Right.
Especially in a situation where a player is leaving mid-season.
Yeah.
Usually it's a more standard, we wish him well type of statement.
Yeah.
This almost feels like they're trying to protect Jones's reputation, maybe even boost his value for other teams.
Right. But then Mara throws in this curveball.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
Right.
We are all disappointed in how things have worked out.
Disappointed.
Disappointed. What does that even mean?
Right. It leaves so much open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Was it Jones's performance?
Yeah.
Was it a clash of personalities? Were there issues with the coaching staff or the front office?
Yeah.
The statement is vague, almost intentionally so.
Yeah, let's be honest, the Giants haven't exactly been setting the league on fire this season.
Right.
Could this be a sign that Jones simply wasn't the right fit for their offensive scheme, and they realized it wasn't going to work long term?
That's definitely one possibility.
Yeah.
You have to wonder if they felt like they'd hit a ceiling with Jones at quarterback.
Right.
Maybe they saw this season slipping away and decided to make a change now rather than waiting until the offseason.
Well, let's not forget, Jones was due for a contract extension.
Oh, right.
Could this be more about money than performance? Maybe negotiations broke down and they just couldn't agree on his value.
That's another angle worth considering.
Yeah.
We know NFL teams are always looking at the bottom line. Maybe they decided Jones wasn't worth the price tag he was asking for.
Right.
Or perhaps they have their eye on a different quarterback in the upcoming draft.
So we've got performance issues, contract disputes, and maybe even some behind-the-scenes drama we don't know about yet.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities here.
Where do you think this leaves Daniel Jones's career?
Well,
is he damaged goods after this, or can he bounce back?
It's hard to say for sure. It's hard to say for sure.
Right.
Remember, Colin Kaepernick was essentially blackballed from the league after his protests.
Right.
But he eventually got to work out with the Raiders a few years back.
Right.
So there's always a chance for redemption.
Okay.
Even if it takes some time.
Okay. But Kaepernick's situation was unique.
Right.
Jones isn't facing any sort of controversy or off-field issues.
Yeah.
He's a talented quarterback with starting experience.
True.
And there are always teams looking for an upgrade at that position.
And his age is a factor, too.
Yeah.
He's still young enough to have a lot of good football ahead of him.
Yeah.
A team with a solid offensive line
Right.
and a good supporting cast
Yeah.
could see him as a valuable asset.
All right, so let's play armchair GM for a minute.
Okay.
What teams come to mind as potential landing spots for Jones?
Well, a team like the Texans could be interesting.
Okay.
They're in the middle of a rebuild
Yeah.
and desperately need a quarterback. They also have a lot of cap space, so they could afford to offer Jones a decent contract.
What about the Commanders?
Oh, yeah.
They've been cycling through quarterbacks for years.
I know.
And they're always in the playoff hunt.
Right.
Maybe they see Jones as the missing piece. They need to get over the hump.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
They have a strong defense
Right.
and a talented receiving core.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jones could step in
Right.
and make an immediate impact.
Yeah.
Plus, playing in the NFC East,
Yeah.
he'd have a chance to face the Giants twice a year
Right.
and prove them wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Those are some interesting possibilities.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears back to the Giants.
Okay.
What are their options now?
They're not exactly overflowing with talent at the quarterback position.
Their immediate option is Tyrod Taylor,
Right.
a seasoned veteran who knows the system. He's a solid backup,
Yeah.
but is he the answer for a team
Right.
that's supposedly trying to build for the future?
It's almost like this situation forces their hand.
Yeah,
They were probably planning to address the quarterback position in the offseason,
right.
but now they have to make a decision right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do they ride it out with Taylor and see what happens?
Yeah.
Do they try to make a trade
Yeah.
for a disgruntled quarterback on another team? Or do they start scouting for their next franchise QB in the draft?
Speaking of the draft,
Yeah.
this situation could have a major impact on their draft strategy.
Absolutely.
If they decide to go the rookie route,
Yeah,
they might need to trade up
right.
to get one of the top prospects.
And that could mean giving up valuable draft capital,
Yeah.
which could set them back even further.
In their rebuilding process.
Right.
This is where things get really complicated
Yeah.
for the Giants.
All right, so we've talked about the potential impact on Jones and the Giants, but I'm curious about the bigger picture here.
Okay.
What does this whole situation say about the state of the Giants organization?
It's definitely not a good look.
Right.
To have a first-round draft pick request his release mid-season
Yeah.
suggests there are some deeper issues at play.
Right.
It makes you wonder
Yeah.
about the culture within the organization, the leadership,
Yeah.
the overall direction of the team.
I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen a talented player want out of New York.
Oh, right.
Remember Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah.
There seems to be a pattern here of the Giants struggling to retain their star players.
And that's a big red flag for any organization.
Yeah.
Players want to be part of a winning culture,
Uh-huh.
a team that's committed to success.
Right.
If the Giants can't create that environment, they're going to continue to lose talent
Right.
and struggle to compete.
So what do you think needs to change?
Well,
Is it a coaching issue? A front office issue?
it's probably a combination of factors.
Right.
They need a clear vision,
Yeah.
a strong leader who can instill a winning mentality. They need to be smarter about their personnel decisions, both in terms of drafting and free agency.
Right.
And they need to create an environment where players feel valued and supported.
We've covered a lot of ground here, but let's not forget we still have those other articles from Giants.com to consider.
Oh, right?
Coach Daboll's weekly column, Dab's Digest, the injury report, and that 10 things to watch piece for the Buccaneers game.
Good point.
Yeah.
Those sources might offer some additional insights into this situation.
Yeah.
Especially Daboll's perspective on Jones's departure
Right.
and the team's plans moving forward.
Maybe Dab's Digest will shed some light on how the team is handling this internally.
And the 10 things to watch could be interesting now that we know Jones won't be under center.
Right. The entire dynamic of that game has shifted.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see how the Giants adjust their game plan
Right.
and who they turn to at quarterback.
Well, you know what they say.
What's that?
One man's trash is another man's treasure. Maybe this is the shakeup the Giants needed to finally get things moving in the right direction.
Or maybe it's the beginning of a downward spiral.
Right.
Only time will tell.
All right, let's crack open Dab's Digest
Okay.
and see what Coach Daboll has to say.
All right.
It's got to be about Jones, right?
You'd think so.
The timing of this whole thing is just too wild.
But surprisingly,
Yeah.
Daboll doesn't mention Jones directly. Instead, he talks about the need for the team to stay focused
Okay.
for the task at hand,
All right.
which is beating the Buccaneers.
Interesting. And maybe he's saving his real thoughts for the press conference.
Or maybe he's trying to keep the team unified
Yeah.
and avoid any distractions.
It's smart, really.
Yeah.
Imagine the media frenzy.
Oh, totally.
If he went into detail about Jones's departure.
Right.
This way he controls the narrative
Uh-huh.
and keeps the team's attention on the upcoming game.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of the game, let's check out that 10 Things to Watch article.
Okay.
I bet the whole list needs to be rewritten now that Jones is out of the picture.
Actually, a lot of the points are still relevant.
Oh, really?
The article highlights the Giants' struggles in the red zone,
Right.
their reliance on Saquon Barkley,
Uh-huh.
and their need to generate a consistent pass rush.
But surely Jones's absence will have some impact on those things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he was their starting quarterback.
The article points out that the Giants' offensive line has been shaky all season,
Right.
and that puts even more pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Now with Tyrod Taylor under center, those issues are likely to be magnified.
Yeah, Taylor's a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's not known for his pocket presence.
Right.
And facing that Buccaneers defense...
Oh, yeah.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The article suggests that the Giants might lean heavily on their running game,
Okay.
trying to control the clock,
Right.
and keep Tom Brady off the field.
Right.
But can Barkley carry the load against that Buccaneers front seven?
Yeah.
That's a big question mark.
It feels like the Giants are in a real tough spot right now.
Yeah.
They've lost their starting quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Their offense is sputtering.
Right.
And they're facing a formidable opponent.
It's not looking good.
What are the chances they can pull off an upset?
It's not impossible,
Yeah.
but it's a long shot.
Yeah.
This game has suddenly become a major test
Right.
for Coach Dable and his staff.
Uh-huh.
Can they rally the troops,
Right.
come up with a creative game plan,
Yeah.
and somehow find a way to win?
We started with a simple statement about Daniel Jones's release.
Right.
And look where we ended up.
I know.
Analyzing the Giants' offensive woes,
Yeah.
their defensive challenges,
A
and their chances against the Buccaneers.
lot to unpack.
Talk about a rabbit hole.
That's the thing about the NFL.
I know.
Everything's connected.
Yeah.
One player's decision
Yeah.
can have a ripple effect throughout an entire organization.
Totally.
And for the Giants, this could be the catalyst for a major shakeup.
So for you listening out there, here's what we want you to consider.
Okay.
Is this the end of the road for the Giants? Or is this a chance for a fresh start?
Keep an eye on the quarterback situation.
Right.
Will they stick with Taylor?
Yeah.
Will they make a trade?
Uh-huh.
Or will they look to the draft for their next franchise QB?
Mm-hmm.
The answers to those questions will tell us a lot about the direction of this team.
This deep dive started with a surprise announcement, took us through a roller coaster of possibilities,
Totally.
and leaves us with even more questions than answers.
I know, it's crazy.
But that's the beauty of it all, isn't it?
That's the NFL.
The NFL is a constantly evolving drama,
That's for sure.
and we're all just along for the ride.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming